I mastered in perfect time like 11:11. You ain't up unless I send you to your staircase to heaven. I break you niggas down like it's elementary math. Reduce you to an op and cut your time here in half.
It's the guy Gioli repping Gioli.com. And this is like one of my first face-to-face interviews, probably my first face-to-face interview. And I'm sitting here with the lovely, the magnificent, the brilliant, the black excellence personified, YASIN TOURE. She just dropped p.u.m.a, which is out right now. And how you doing? How you feeling?
I'm feeling really good. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. So what the hell is p.u.m.a? From the gate. Let's go.
So p.u.m.a stands for a couple things, but the most important thing is pushing units and mastering art. The other one is pull up my accolades. So yes, that's what p.u.m.a is all about. It's really just this braggadocious mixture of poetry and hip hop over some incredible jazzy hip hop beats that you don't really hear that much. You don't really get to hear that jazz style, but I wanted to bring it back in a really fresh way.
One thing I noticed was, your audio aesthetic, right? Which I say that's like a trademark. I'm trademarking that shit. Your audio aesthetic. It fit the artwork really well. Like it's kind of like when I look at the cover, you did that cover yourself.
Yeah.
When I look at the cover, it's like I know what the album sounds like. Is that weird? Like nowadays, you go look at somebody's artwork and it just doesn't match it. Like it's not a full art piece. You know how Kendrick Lamar, like when you listen to Damn, like you look at the cover of Damn, it's like, oh yeah, I know what this is.
Definitely.
So,
it is. Yeah. It's very brown.
Yeah.
And you know, I love brown. I love those deep colors and earth colors and warm colors. You know what I mean? Like it feels like a Brooklyn brownstone.
And that's what I got from it. I ain't gonna go too crazy with the surface questions, man. I'm gonna just ask you.
I'm so excited. I love doing this.
Yeah, not what your writing process was. What is your thinking process? What are you thinking going into p.u.m.a?
What I'm thinking is that I'm insane, and the way to sanity is to release. And that's the goal, to release, to let go, to, whatever I'm feeling, to put it on paper and then to record it.
All right. I don't know if that's going to age well. I don't think I know you don't really mean insane, but let's just clear that up right there.
But I think all artists are insane. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's something that separates us from the regular person. You know what I'm saying? Because we think creatively, we see the world differently, and we use music and mediums and art and film and, music to express ourselves. It's our language.
What I notice is there's a lot of personal reflection, a lot of personal topics. First of all, is that your style moving forward? Or will we see more like like the aforementioned Damn, where, Kendrick is speaking for the whole of the people and things of that nature? Is your style more introspective, like a Drake or something? Or do you, more so plan on getting into stepping out of yourself and just speaking on some topics that...
When I was in university, I remember our professor said that there are two different type of poets. There is the public poet, and then there's the private poet. And the private poet, when they write from a place of, not being aware of the person who's going to read the poem, of the public and how they're going to react and what's happening in political times and all that. And then there's the opposite. There's the political public poet. He's thinking about politics and, social awareness and what this poem is going to mean to the culture right now. And I could be either one, but for me, being the private poet makes sense for me, and I'm my best self when I'm introspective. You know what I'm saying? And it's really dope, because when I hear people like you, hip hop, I'm about to mess up the whole name of what's the name of Hip Hop for Numbers? Yeah,
Hip Hop Numbers. Shout out to Ben Carter.
When I hear people give their response back to me, I'm healed, because they say things that I didn't even recognize about myself. I'm like, oh, they like, yeah, you know, when you were talking about this, you were talking about this and that. And I'm like, I was talking about that. I do have that issue. I was going through that. Like, they tell me about myself. So that's what I always want to do, is stay on the introspective side, because it's healing for me and it's just natural for me.
I think that's the beauty in it. I think that's the beauty in, like, sometimes people kind of shun critics and they try to say, oh, you're not, you know, like, kind of, you see people in sports, they say, yo, if you never played sports, then you shouldn't talk about sports. Maybe they should be the ones that talk about sports the most, because they've been on the outside their whole life. They only could see the macro. You know, they never really, they don't have any issues with trauma they may have experienced within it. You know what I mean? So it's always dope when somebody from the outside looking in could say, oh no, this. You know, it really helps you see yourself in a fuller way. So shout out to all the critics, man. Y'all, they get a bad rap.
Yeah, we need critics, because when you think about it, you have the fan, you have the critic, and then you have the artist. And the fan is listening from a whole different perspective, especially today in 2022. Like, the fan is getting told this is hot and then listening to it and then deciding it's hot because most people say it's hot. And then the artist is too self-absorbed to really, like, you know, offer much to other artists. But the critic is the most observant, because they're a little bit of a fan, and a lot of them, like you said, have a little bit of artistry themselves. Maybe it didn't work out, whatever. And so they really create that distance, but in, you know, very, like, intense listening skills and very detailed to say a lot of things. So we need them. You know, we need that.
So there's a lot of, like you said, it's jazz inspired. There's poetry, there's rap. There's, like, spoken word, if that's, like, different from poetry. I don't know. Like I was saying before, moving forward, p.u.m.a 2 or whatever the next project is is this a format you're going to keep? Because if you look at an artist like, I don't know, let's just say Drake, because it's always the top dude. So Far Gone is kind of just like his latest album. That's just like he kind of keeps this going. You get what I'm saying? So moving forward, are you going to keep adding those elements in together and blending them in, or are you going to, like, abandon the poetry a little bit or make it a little more, you know?
I want to always do poetry and rap, because I feel like it's what makes YASIN TOURE stand out from the crowd. And mind you, there are songs, and as we continue, you know, with p.u.m.a 2, people will hear that there'll be more songs with me rapping as well, because I don't ever want it to be misunderstood where people are like, oh, you know, YASIN can't stand alone as a rapper, because I can. And same thing with poets. Like, I can stand alone with that too. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to hear more of both, but they're always, like, a full album or full project is room for both. But I do want to continue to move forward in a sense of, when you hear p.u.m.a 2, there will be less jazz.
So there is a p.u.m.a 2.
Yes, okay. And there'll be less jazz. Because as much as people want to already put it in a box and say, oh, this is a jazz thing, it actually is bigger than jazz. Like, that's the medium right now, but it's the voice for everything. So there'll be, like, a soul one that's lots of soul samples, you know what I'm saying? And there'll be one that's more like, you know, Cuban and Afro, Latino type of vibe, you know what I mean? Because there's room for all of that. But you'll always get YASIN TOURE. You'll get that feeling and vibe, that brown, you know, deep, warm Brooklyn brownstone flavor.
I was going to say, all that lives in the same house to some extent, especially to people, you know, like, who section off maybe, like, trap from everything else, or, like, gangster rap, you know, like, they might look at it and be like, it's people who don't know, like, for instance, it's people who don't know, because they kind of like outliers in hip-hop. They don't know the difference between, they don't know that Lupe Fiasco doesn't rap on Primo beats. Right. Because it just seemed like, you get what I'm saying? So it's kind of all live in the same house. Like, just because he's lyrical, he kind of get grouped in with, you know, that crowd. So I think people will allow you to grow in that way, because if you're a fan of that, you're probably a fan of over here too. It's not too far left.
Oh yeah.
You know, so
And I'm always inspired, so to do the same thing over and over again, it just wouldn't be fitting.
Yeah, I don't think that would be you. Being honest with what I know about you. You're more like people don't know why Kanye West's sound changes every time. It's because he has a problem with redundancy. He can't make, even if some people, they make a classic album, they try to recreate that album the rest of their life. Kanye's like, I made a classic, let me go into the next thing. So those people are always boundary pushing. Now they fall flat along the way sometimes. Yeah. Just from trying to, you know what I mean, push. But, you know, that's when they hit one, they got it. So, yeah. With you though, how's it been on the business side of, I don't want to say p.u.m.a itself, but just the business of YASIN TOURE? What is that? How's that been making a business out of the music? Because I know it's just two separate chambers, right? And you probably do a lot of stuff dolo, so let me know about that.
I mean, I was talking to somebody, another artist, about this the other day, where it's like, you know, we come from this time where as artists we thought in our minds we could just be artists. And then the world changed, you know what I mean? And with social media and like labels and just streaming and everything, so much change. So now it's like we are entrepreneurs and our music is the product and we're the product. And so we're pushing and investing and funding our own projects and doing our own thing. So it is a challenge. But, you know, the way I found a medium is just to connect the two rather than being like, oh, now I have to do business. Instead, it's like, well, I am a business. This is a business. p.u.m.a is a business. And, you know, on the positive side of being entrepreneurs, you see amazing things with, you know, for example, the group Griselda, who mixes art and merch and fashion and so much.
And get a bag.
And they're doing so well. So that's inspiring for us artists, and that's an opportunity. You know what I mean? So that's how I try to look at it.
Yeah, that's a dope outlook on it, man, because it could definitely seem bleak, you know, as an artist who got like no team or a small team, something like that. It could seem like, man, damn, if I could just get on rap, what's the playlist? Rap Caviar. Right. You know what I mean? My joint to take off instantly, and it's good enough too. You know, like a lot of this stuff is frustrating for artists because it's none of the opportunities is based on the quality of the music. So it's weird, you know, like, and you could start second guessing yourself, doubting yourself, but it's not what you're doing musically. So you go back and you try to make better music, but that's not the answer.
Oh yeah, I just heard the best song of 2022. Yeah. And it was on YouTube. It had like, you know, 1,000 views. And I was like, this deserves to have 20 million views, you know. But that's just the landscape that we're in, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's nice to be on Rap Caviar and be on those type of playlists. But honestly, those do come with something too. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just open to it all. You know what I'm saying? I'm just happy that when people hear me, they're excited to hear what I have to say and they want to hear more and they support it.
Last thing on the business tip, do you like the free model with, you know, just pay me on the back end? You know how streams are, like, you know, you put it out up front, people stream it for the rest of your life, and then you know you receive a check monthly or however you work that out with the distributor. Do you like that more than, yo, here's my tape, give me $10? Like what sounds better for you?
I'm gonna be honest, you know, like I said, entrepreneurship is dope and I'm embracing it. However, I could never be the girl that had the car where you pop up the trunk and you sell the CDs. You know what I'm saying? Even back when I used to go to like the open mics, you know, when I was younger and stuff, and I see people selling their poetry CD, I'd be like, yo, shout out to them, because I could never be like, buy my CD, buy my CD, buy my CD. But, you know, so that's not me. So I do like the streaming. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, people was making money selling that stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? You was making money. However, I do like when I I go back into the streams and I look to see where people are listening to my music. I'm like, wow, somebody from like Nigeria, somebody from
the internet gave you that
you know
reach.
what I'm saying, Switzerland or Germany and France are listening to my music, and that's just on a fully organic.
100% organic.
And that's amazing.
Real fast, give me a favorite track on Puma and give me what people's favorite track is. And what you learned through that.
My favorite track is probably Moves. But people's favorite.
Not 89 Yasin.
No.
Okay.
89 Yasin was people's favorite,
Okay.
and they manipulated me so that now it's my favorite. Because I'm like, you're right. You're right. Yeah, that is it. You know what I'm saying? What I learned from it though is, I sometimes have this need to, like most artists, it's like I want to prove myself. And what I found is people are not looking for me to prove myself to them. They're looking for that specialness. And 89 Yasin has this special uniqueness that feels like a breath of fresh air. And that's the thing that they feel that is brilliant.
I think that's a great lesson to learn while you still, early and putting out stuff, because that I talk about that all the time. If you could tap into your uniqueness, you're automatically a superstar. Yeah. You could tap into your own essence.
Right.
There you have it, because that can't even be reduplicated at all. Like that feeling that people get when they hear you, it can never. Right. It can only come off like a carbon copy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, any last words you want to say about P.u.m.a or anything else you got coming up, or just about Yasin Touré in general before we get out of there?
I want to say real quick before I do that, about proving yourself. Two rappers I respect talked about this before. Lupe Fiasco said he spent his whole time trying to prove himself until he realized it didn't mean nothing. And I heard Remy Ma say the same thing. She wanted to prove herself until she realized that doesn't matter. So, it's really, it's always good to have that hunger and to have that energy, you know what I'm saying? And it pushes you lyrically, pushes your pen. But it's good to know that, to focus on what does matter. But any last things I want to say, I want people to know that I wrote P.u.m.a from a genuine place, from a sincere place, and there's more to come. You know what I mean? And it's only getting better. Like the music, the visuals, the just the amount of people that are going to hear it, is going worldwide. And for the people that's here now, and I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you bring to it.
You have to tap in with the real ones and keep them around.
Yo, I mean, hearing people that's like, somebody told me, it was like, yo, I listen to this every day. And it was like, I'm sending this to people, like, you know what I mean? And it's just, I couldn't ask for nothing more than just the respect of people that I respect.
Well, I know you respect me, and you definitely have my respect. Mm-hmm. I think you are going to grow to be one of the premier artists. Not musically, because I think you kind of, you stand out musically now, but I mean, like, just in success. I think people are going to continue to follow you. Mm-hmm. I think that P.u.m.a is just the tip of the iceberg, and I'm excited for P.u.m.a too.
Yeah. So. P.u.m.a 2 will be here in a couple months. So that's going to be crazy. I'm excited for that.
All right, let's get it.
And I hope to do more songs with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully we can catch feelings.
Yeah, catch feelings. Yeah.
It's the guy Gioli, repping Gioli.com. This is Yasin Touré. And
not Yasin Bey.
Not Yasin Bey. And make sure
Shout out to Yasin Bey.
Go grab P.u.m.a as soon as you see this, man. Download it, stream it, share it, love it, vibe with it. It's a dope listen. So yeah, we out here.
Yeah. Peace.
Look, nigga, I'm a once in a generation talent. They calling me the one from the net, but that's a gross oversimplification. I'm from the basement, so part of my G, they borrowed from me, then try to scrap me like I ain't even part of the equation.